Ladies and gentlemen, you see, sometimes life throws you into situations that feel like a storm. You can't escape. You find yourself tangled up with someone who drains your soul, belittles your spirit, and makes you question your worth. A narcissist. And you wonder, why me? Why did I have to endure this pain? Let me tell you something real. God doesn't make mistakes. He put you in that person's life for a reason. You see, you are not just anybody. You are chosen. You are a warrior. And warriors are never placed on the battlefield without purpose. God saw something in you that the narcissist didn't. He saw strength, resilience, and a light that couldn't be dimmed. The narcissist tried to break you, tried to make you doubt yourself. But here you are, still standing, still fighting, still surviving. That's not by accident. Maybe you were meant to be a mirror, reflecting the truth they refuse to see. Maybe your kindness, your compassion, your unwavering love were meant to teach them something they couldn't grasp on their own. Or maybe, just maybe, you were there to learn your own strength, to see just how unbreakable you are. God didn't place you in their life to be defeated. No, He put you there to transform, to rise from the ashes stronger than ever before, to recognize your value and never again settle for less than you deserve. And when it's all said and done, when the storm has passed and you've found your peace, you'll look back and realize that the pain wasn't in vain. You were shaped, molded, and refined through the fire. Your scars became your strength, and your story became your power. So don't regret it. Don't question why it happened. Instead, thank God for trusting you with a battle that proved just how fierce you really are. You were put in that life for a reason, and now it's time to claim your victory. Sometimes life places us in situations that feel almost unbearable. It feels unfair, confusing, and often leaves us questioning why we had to endure such pain. Being connected to a narcissist can be one of those experiences that leaves you feeling lost, depleted, and broken. But what if I told you that none of it was by accident? That the pain, the struggle, the hurt, it all served a purpose. God placed you in that person's life for a reason. When you find yourself entangled with a narcissist, it's easy to feel like you've been abandoned or overlooked by God. You may wonder why He would allow you to endure the manipulation, the emotional abuse, and the constant belittling. But God's wisdom is far beyond our own understanding. He sees the bigger picture when all we see are broken pieces. Sometimes God places you in someone's life to be a lesson, a mirror, or even a catalyst for change. Narcissists are people trapped in their own darkness, often driven by deep-seated insecurities and a desperate need for validation. They project their pain onto others, hoping to mask the emptiness they feel inside. But when someone like you enters their life, someone with genuine compassion, love, and kindness, it's as if a light is being shown into the darkest corners of their existence. Your presence may have been intended to challenge them, to force them to confront the parts of themselves they prefer to ignore. Perhaps your strength and authenticity unsettled them because it highlighted everything they were not willing to face. Your role may have been to plant a seed, to offer a glimpse of a healthier way to live, even if they were never willing to acknowledge it. But sometimes the reason God places you in a narcissist's life has less to do with them and more to do with you. He sees your potential, your resilience, and your ability to grow beyond your pain. You were never meant to remain broken. Instead, you were meant to rise, to transform, and to recognize the depth of your own strength. The struggles you endured were not meant to destroy you, but to awaken you. In the midst of your suffering, God was molding you, strengthening you, and preparing you for something greater. Through the pain, you learned to value yourself. You discovered boundaries you never thought you had the courage to establish. You found clarity in the chaos and developed a sense of self-worth that no one could ever strip away from you again. Perhaps you were also meant to become a voice of healing for others who are trapped in similar situations. Your journey, as painful as it was, has given you a unique insight and empathy that can guide others out of the darkness. Sometimes our most powerful testimonies are born from our deepest wounds. And God knew that you would emerge from that experience with a testimony capable of inspiring and empowering others. It's also important to realize that your involvement in the narcissist's life was never about proving your worth to them. You were never meant to be their savior or to fix their brokenness. Instead, it was about recognizing your own worth and understanding that you deserve so much more than what they were willing to give. God allowed that season in your life to reveal your true value to yourself. Now, as you stand on the other side of that experience, you can see that it was all part of a divine plan, a plan designed to build your character, strengthen your faith, and elevate you to a new level of wisdom and resilience. What once felt like a curse was actually a stepping stone toward your growth. God's plan for you is not limited to the pain you experienced. It goes far beyond that. He placed you in that narcissist's life to show you your strength, to guide you toward your healing, and to prepare you for a future filled with peace, joy, and purpose. Never doubt that there was a purpose behind the pain. God's love for you has always been there, guiding you through every dark moment, every tear, and every struggle. He trusted you to endure it, knowing that you would come out of it stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever before. Being placed in the life of a narcissist is often a bewildering and painful experience. It leaves you feeling drained, questioning your own sanity, and struggling to understand why you were put in such a situation. But God's plans are far greater than our comprehension, and sometimes He positions us in challenging places to be a mirror that reflects truth and forces both you and the other person to confront the reality of who you are. When you were placed in the narcissist's life, your presence alone was a disruption, not because you were doing anything wrong, but because you were doing everything right. You showed compassion, patience, empathy, and love, qualities that are foreign to someone trapped in their own darkness. For a narcissist, genuine kindness and authenticity can feel like a direct challenge to their carefully constructed world of manipulation and control. You were a mirror reflecting the things they could not or would not acknowledge about themselves. Your integrity highlighted their dishonesty. Your empathy exposed their selfishness. Your authenticity clashed with their deceit. And instead of embracing the opportunity to grow, they projected their own pain and shortcomings onto you. But that doesn't mean your presence was in vain. Sometimes God places you in someone's life to serve as a wake-up call, whether they choose to acknowledge it or not. Your presence may have been meant to challenge them, to force them to see themselves in a way they never had before. Even if they never admit it, even if they refuse to change, you were a divine disruption to their comfort zone. And that disruption was necessary. But this reflection goes both ways. While you may have been a mirror for them, they were also a mirror for you. They showed you the parts of yourself that needed healing, the insecurities you hadn't yet addressed, and the boundaries you had not yet built. In their mistreatment, you discovered the areas where you had been settling for less than you deserved. In their manipulation, you learned to trust your own instincts and recognize your own truth. God uses these experiences to reveal the places within us that require growth. While you may have been placed in their life to challenge them, you were also there to challenge yourself, to see your own worth more clearly, to recognize the power of your own voice, and to learn the importance of loving yourself enough to walk away from what does not serve you. Your role as a mirror was not just about them, it was about you. It was about seeing your own strength, acknowledging your own resilience, and realizing that your kindness is not a weakness, but a testament to the power within you. What they saw as vulnerability was actually your greatest strength. God didn't put you in that person's life just to be mistreated. He placed you there to reveal something deeper within both of you. Whether or not the narcissist chooses to confront their own truth is beyond your control. But what matters is that you confronted yours. You looked in that mirror and saw yourself, truly saw yourself, for the first time. And maybe that was the real reason for the encounter all along. Maybe God placed you in their life to teach them something they were too stubborn to learn. But more importantly, maybe He placed them in your life to teach you how to see yourself, to show you that you are worthy of love, respect, and peace, to remind you that you have the power to walk away from anyone or anything that tries to diminish your light. In reflecting their darkness, you discovered your own brilliance. In confronting their cruelty, you found your own compassion. And in standing up to their manipulation, you found your own courage. The mirror was never meant to break you. It was meant to reveal you, to uncover the beautiful, resilient, powerful person you were always meant to be. Strength is a quality often discovered in the most unexpected and trying circumstances. When you find yourself entangled with a narcissist, you may feel like your world is crumbling, your confidence shattered, and your sense of self eroded by their manipulation and cruelty. You may wonder how you allowed yourself to be hurt so deeply, how you became vulnerable to someone who took advantage of your kindness. But here's the truth. The very fact that you survived such an experience speaks volumes about your strength. It reveals something powerful about you that perhaps you never fully realized until now. The narcissist wanted you to believe you were weak, dependent, and incapable of standing on your own. Their entire strategy was built around breaking down your self-esteem, twisting your reality, and making you question your worth. Why? Because they recognized something within you that they could never possess, true inner strength, and it terrified them. God saw that strength in you long before you ever did. He saw the resilience hidden beneath your pain, the courage buried beneath your doubt, and the light that no amount of darkness could extinguish. You were not placed in the narcissist's life to be destroyed. You were placed there to discover just how unbreakable you truly are. You see, strength is not measured by how much you can endure without breaking. It's measured by your ability to rise from the ashes of what tried to destroy you. And you rose. Maybe you didn't even realize it at first. Maybe you were too busy just trying to survive, clinging to hope while feeling like you were drowning. But you survived. And that survival is a testament to the warrior within you. There were days when you felt defeated, hopeless, and shattered, yet you continued to move forward. You kept going even when your spirit was weary and your heart was heavy. You faced the manipulation, the lies, the endless gaslighting, and you still chose to stand. That's strength. The kind of strength that doesn't need validation from anyone else because it comes from a place so deep within you that nothing external can ever truly touch it. God allowed you to endure that battle, not because He wanted to see you suffer, but because He wanted to show you who you really are. He wanted to reveal to you that your kindness is not weakness, that your empathy is not a flaw, and that your ability to love, even in the face of cruelty, is a gift, not a curse. What the narcissist tried to use against you, God transformed into your greatest power. Your journey with that person was never about their approval or validation. It was about finding your own. It was about reclaiming your voice, rediscovering your worth, and recognizing that you are whole and complete without anyone's acceptance or acknowledgement. The narcissist tried to convince you that you were powerless, but all along you held the power to walk away, to heal, and to rise above their attempts to tear you down. And now that you've emerged from that storm, you can see it more clearly. You can look back on the experience and realize that it didn't destroy you, it strengthened you. It taught you boundaries. It taught you to listen to your intuition and to trust yourself when others try to convince you that your truth is a lie. It taught you that no amount of manipulation can break the soul that God has fortified. This journey was never meant to break you. It was meant to reveal the warrior within you, the person who can love fiercely, live authentically, and stand firm in their truth, regardless of who tries to diminish it. Your strength was not only meant to help you survive that toxic relationship, it was meant to propel you forward into a life of purpose, peace, and fulfillment. So no, you are not broken, you are not weak, you are not defeated. You are a testament to the power of resilience, courage, and unshakable faith. God allowed you to face that battle to show you that nothing and no one can truly break you. You are stronger than you ever realized. And now that you see that strength for yourself, you are unstoppable. Growth often comes wrapped in pain, hardship, and moments that leave us questioning everything we once believed about ourselves. When you find yourself entangled with a narcissist, it feels like you are in a constant state of survival. You're walking on eggshells, questioning your own sanity, and trying to keep your head above water while someone you trusted pulls you under time and time again. It feels cruel, it feels unfair. But what if I told you that your suffering was never in vain? That God allowed that experience to shape you, strengthen you, and prepare you for a life far greater than you could imagine. The pain you endured was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to transform you. It was meant to open your eyes to the parts of yourself that needed healing, the wounds you carried long before that person ever entered your life. You see, the narcissist may have exploited your kindness, but they didn't create your pain, the insecurities, the fears, the doubts. Those were already there, buried deep within you. They simply found a way to bring them to the surface. But here's the beautiful part. Once those wounds were exposed, you had the opportunity to address them, to confront them, to heal from them. And that healing process was not easy. It required you to be brutally honest with yourself, to acknowledge where you had been settling for less than you deserved, and to recognize the patterns that kept leading you into pain. It required you to strip away every false belief that the narcissist tried to plant in your mind. You had to relearn your own worth. You had to reclaim your own voice. And most importantly, you had to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for staying too long. Forgive yourself for ignoring red flags. Forgive yourself for not knowing better when you were simply doing the best you could with the knowledge and strength you had at the time. God allowed that relationship to show you your own power, to reveal to you that your worth was never dependent on another person's validation, that your kindness is not a weakness but a reflection of the beautiful soul God created you to be, that your empathy is not something to be ashamed of but something to be cherished and protected. Through that painful experience, you grew. You became wiser. You learned to discern between genuine love and manipulation. You learned the importance of boundaries and the courage it takes to enforce them. And perhaps most importantly, you learned to love yourself in a way you never had before. Growth through adversity is one of the most powerful transformations a person can undergo. And while it is often uncomfortable and painful, it is also the birthplace of true strength. It is where you learn what you are truly made of. It is where you discover resilience you never knew you had. The truth is, the narcissist didn't expect you to survive. They didn't expect you to rise above the pain and become stronger because of it. Their intention was to break you, to leave you feeling so empty that you would constantly seek their approval just to feel whole. But God had a different plan for you, a plan that involved not just surviving the storm, but thriving in its aftermath. You see, that experience was not just about enduring pain. It was about learning how to turn that pain into purpose, how to transform your wounds into wisdom. And now that you've emerged from that darkness, you are equipped with a strength and understanding that can never be taken away from you. You are no longer a victim of your past. You are a victor. You are someone who has walked through the fire and come out refined. This growth was essential because it taught you who you truly are. It taught you that your value is not determined by someone else's approval. It taught you that peace is not something that can be given or taken away by another person. It is something you cultivate within yourself. And now you have the power to build the life you deserve, free from the toxicity that once tried to consume you. God didn't just bring you through that experience to leave you scarred. He brought you through it to show you that scars can be beautiful. They are proof of your resilience, evidence of your healing, and reminders of how far you've come. You were meant to grow through what you went through. And now that you have, nothing and no one can ever diminish your light again. Recognizing your worth is one of the most powerful and liberating experiences you can ever have. It's a revelation that often comes through pain, heartbreak, and the relentless struggle to understand why you endured the treatment you did. When you are entangled with a narcissist, your sense of worth is constantly under attack. Every manipulation, every cruel word, every silent treatment is designed to chip away at your self-esteem, to make you feel like you are nothing without their approval. But the beauty of the journey is this: God used that experience to teach you the true value of who you are. You see, when you place your worth in the hands of someone who thrives on diminishing others, it's easy to lose sight of who you are. It's easy to believe their lies, to accept their twisted version of reality, and to settle for breadcrumbs of affection because you've been convinced that's all you deserve. They wanted you to feel small because your greatness threatened them. They wanted you to feel unworthy because your light shined too brightly for their comfort. But God saw you even in the midst of that darkness. Even when you doubted yourself the most, He saw your worth. And He allowed you to go through that painful experience, not to destroy you, but to help you rediscover what was always within you. Because the truth is, your worth was never tied to the narcissist's validation. It was never something they had the power to grant or take away. Your worth is something divinely given, something embedded within you from the moment you took your first breath. The narcissist's inability to see your value was not a reflection of you. It was a reflection of them. They tried to convince you that you were not enough because deep down, they were terrified of the truth. They were afraid of your strength, your kindness, your authenticity, qualities they could never truly possess. So they did what they could to make you question your own brilliance. But God allowed it not because He wanted you to suffer, but because He wanted you to realize your worth independently of anyone else's opinion. The journey toward recognizing your worth often begins with the painful process of letting go. Letting go of the need for validation. Letting go of the illusion that you could ever be enough for someone who refuses to acknowledge your value. Letting go of the toxic belief that your worthiness is tied to someone else's acceptance. And that process, it's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's filled with moments of doubt and fear, but it's also incredibly freeing. God wanted you to see yourself through His eye, to recognize that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, deserving of love, respect, and kindness. The narcissist tried to make you believe that you were unlovable, unworthy, and inadequate. But all along, God was whispering to you that none of those lies were true. He was reminding you of your worth, even when you couldn't see it for yourself. And now that you've come through the other side, you can see clearly. You can see that your worth was never diminished by their cruelty. In fact, their attempts to break you only highlighted just how valuable you truly are. Because despite everything, you are still standing. You are still here, still fighting, still growing. And that resilience, that unwavering determination to rise above the pain is a testament to your worth. Recognizing your worth also means recognizing what you deserve. It means understanding that you deserve love that is genuine, not manipulative. You deserve peace, not chaos. You deserve support, not sabotage. And the moment you truly internalize that truth, everything changes. You stop settling for less. You stop accepting apologies that come with no change. You stop giving your energy to people who only seek to drain you. The beauty of recognizing your worth is that it empowers you to set boundaries and protect your peace. It gives you the courage to walk away from anyone who refuses to honor the light within you. It allows you to rebuild your life on a foundation of self-love, authenticity, and unwavering faith. God used that painful experience to help you rediscover yourself, to help you reclaim your power, to remind you that your worth is not defined by how someone else treats you, but by who you are at your core. And who you are is enough, more than enough, absolutely deserving of the love, joy, and fulfillment that God has always intended for you. The moment you break free from a narcissist's grasp is not just a moment of survival. It's a moment of triumph. It's a victory that goes far beyond simply leaving a toxic relationship. It's about reclaiming your power, your peace, and your identity. And while the experience may have left you feeling scarred, there is something deeply transformative about choosing to not only survive, but to thrive. It's about turning your pain into purpose and choosing gratitude over bitterness. When you look back at the journey you endured, it's easy to feel anger, resentment, and even hatred toward the person who hurt you. You may feel like the time you invested was wasted, like the love you gave was unappreciated, and like the energy you poured into the relationship was thrown away. But God has a way of turning even the darkest moments of our lives into something beautiful. And sometimes the greatest act of gratitude is not just being thankful for the good things, but for the strength you gained from the struggle. It takes a powerful, resilient soul to be able to look at such a painful experience and say, thank you, God. Not because of the hurt itself, but because of what came from it, because of the lessons you learned, because of the wisdom you gained, because of the courage you discovered within yourself. God placed you in that situation to help you become who you were always meant to be. And now you are stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than ever before. It's easy to let anger consume you, to feel bitterness toward the person who tried to break you, but holding on to that bitterness only gives them more power over you. It keeps you trapped in the pain instead of allowing you to fully heal. True victory comes when you can release that bitterness and embrace gratitude for the person you have become. God allowed you to walk through that storm so you could discover your own resilience. He allowed you to face that darkness so you could find your own light. And now that you've emerged from the battle, you have a testimony that speaks louder than any attempt to tear you down. You have a strength that is unshakable, a peace that surpasses all understanding, and a purpose that goes far beyond what you ever imagined. The narcissist may have thought they were breaking you, but in reality, they were helping to build you. Every attempt to belittle you only made you more determined to recognize your worth. Every effort to manipulate you only made you more committed to trusting your own truth. Every ounce of cruelty they showed you only strengthened your ability to show compassion to yourself and others. You can now look back on that experience with gratitude, not because it was pleasant, but because it was purposeful. It was a divine process of refining, shaping, and molding you into the person you were always meant to be. And now that you see it for what it was, you can release the pain with a heart full of gratitude. You can thank God for the strength He gave you to walk away, for the clarity He gave you to see the truth, for the courage He gave you to rebuild yourself from the ground up, and for the resilience He instilled in you to keep moving forward, even when it felt impossible. Gratitude also means acknowledging the blessings that have come from that experience, the boundaries you've learned to set, the self-love you've cultivated, the empathy you've developed for others who are walking the same painful path you once walked. Your experience was not wasted. It was a stepping stone towards something greater. God didn't allow you to go through that pain for nothing. He allowed it because He knew you would come out of it stronger. He knew you would take that brokenness and turn it into something beautiful, and He knew that one day you would be able to help others heal from their own wounds. You are victorious, not because you escaped unscathed, but because you emerged transformed. Not because you were never hurt, but because you refused to let the hurt define you. Your victory is found in your decision to rise above, to grow through the pain, and to become the person God always intended you to be. So yes, you can be grateful. You can be grateful for the strength you discovered, for the wisdom you gained, and for the love you now have for yourself. You can be grateful for the journey that led you to this place of healing and wholeness. And most of all, you can be grateful that God never left your side, even when you felt most alone